Thank you for inviting me to talk today on this women's webinar. Women's issues are very close to my heart, and so is resilience. I want to talk specifically about resilience, and then I want to give you 3 strategies of resilience, of how you can bounce back. Let's quickly look at what resilience is. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, or the one that I like, it's toughness to bounce back. This talk is based on a YouTube video that I saw of a lady with the name of Lucy Hain. She lives in Christchurch in a city in New Zealand. So what happened to this lady is they were at a lake celebrating with friends, having a nice picnic. And at the end of the day, when they went home, her daughter, who was 12 years old at the time, decided to jump into the car with her friend, who's also 12 years old, and Lucy's best friend, the mother of the daughter's friend. So the 3 of them went home. But on their way home, unfortunately, an accident happened. A car didn't stop at a stop street, and all 3 were killed instantly. So Lucy's daughter, her daughter's best friend, who was also 12 years old, and Lucy's friend died instantly. Now, Lucy talks about people trying to console her and the 5 stages of grief that we go through: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And she said, you know what? They all told me these things, but this didn't work for me. This didn't work for me. And then she said, I will have to bounce back somehow from this tragedy, and I will have to develop 3 strategies to do that. Now, before we get to the strategies, I want to say to you, we have mentioned gender-based violence. But you know, ladies, there are so many other adversities that happens in our lives. And I found that the 3 strategies of Lucy Hain can actually assist us to overcome all of these adversities. Now, adversity does not discriminate. Adversity is life. Bad things happen to us. If you are alive, you will at some point in your life meet adversity. I'm going to mention a few categories of adversities, and I am sure by the time that I have mentioned all of them, most of you would have said, yes, I have had this or more than one adversity. So the first one is, if you've ever lost someone you truly love, or if you ever had your heart broken, adversity has happened to you. Now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us have lost loved ones. I just want to share with you that my own sister, I have a sister that is 5 years older than I am. She lives in the Western Cape, and this Monday she tested positive for COVID. So we are very worried about her, but she is in isolation, and she has a very high fever, but we're getting there. So then, if you've ever struggled through an acrimonious divorce, or being the victim of infidelity, or as Dr. Mohapi said, being abused, then you have had adversity in your life. If you ever had a miscarriage, or had an abortion, or struggled through infertility, life has happened to you. If you or anyone you love has had to cope with mental illness or dementia, or coped with suicide, or somebody that's tried to commit suicide in your life, adversity has happened to you. And then if you've ever been bullied or marginalized, adversity has happened to you. So what Lucy did, she said, there are three strategies, three things that resilient people do. The first strategy is resilient people know that suffering is part of life, of human existence. They understand that terrible things can happen to us and that they do. So the understanding and the knowing that if you're alive, sometime in your life, some adversity is going to hit you. Secondly, her second strategy for resilience is resilient people are really good at where they select their focus and their attention and actions. She used the example, she said, you know, when we were living in the caves and the cave woman would come out of the cave and you saw a saber-toothed tiger, you had to know to stay away from that tiger because that tiger can make you extinct. It will eat you and you will be gone. She said, but on the other hand, there's the rainbow. Now, in our lives, in all of our lives, it's just a human trait. We attract negative things. It's easy to attract a negative emotion. It's easy to attract a negative action. It's easy to attract a negative thought. We are hardwired as human beings to attract the negative. But what we have to learn, and this is her second strategy, is sure, we have to survive. So we have to know about the saber-toothed tiger. We have to, out of the corner of our eye, watch the tiger. But we have to focus on the rainbow. We have to learn to be positive. We have to focus on the rainbow. There is a psychological term, and this term is called benefit finding, and it means to focus on the positive. Then the third strategy for resilience is that resilient people ask themselves the question, is what I'm doing good for me, hurting me, or helping me? Is it good for me or is it bad for me? Is it hurting me or is it helping me? She used the example, she said there were nights that she would look at pictures of her daughter and then she would cry herself to sleep. And then she came to a stage where she said, wait a minute, is this good for me or is this bad for me? And then she decided, it's not good for me to look at these photos so often and cry myself to sleep. So she stopped doing that. And then I just want to share with you that in my life, in the list of adversities that I gave you, most adversities, I have experienced them. And I just want to say that the one that hit me the hardest was infertility. My husband and I couldn't have children. We tried infertility treatment. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Physically, it was very hard on my body because I had to take millions of hormones and get hormone injections. And then, so when it didn't work for us, physically, it had an impact on my body. Secondly, psychologically and emotionally, it had a big, big, big impact on my life. And it took me, I would say, years to bounce back. But I have bounced back from that. And today I can say to you, I don't have children of my own, but I have many children. I have children that are older than I am. I have children that are younger than I am. But and especially ladies. As I said, women's issues are very close to my heart. So I just want to say to you that you can grieve and you can live at the same time. There was, when I struggled through infertility, there was a book that I read, and the book's name was Surviving Infertility. It was written by an American lady with the name of Linda P. Zaltzer. And in this book, she said, infertility is worse than burying somebody, than losing someone to death. Because if you lose someone and they die, you put them in a grave. You put flowers on the grave. You can visit them. You put a gravestone on, and eventually you get over it. Eventually you survive, you bounce back. But infertility, you wake up with it every single day. So it's with you every single day. And then, one day I, I survived infertility. I can't tell you the date or the specific day, but I bounced back and I left this behind me. And very often when adversity happens in your life and you have a partner, it will break you up or it will bring you closer. And I'm very thankful that my husband and I became closer. So I would like to end by saying to you, in my own opinion, there are 5 things that works for me for resilience, to be resilient. I am a very resilient person. The first one is that I set goals in writing and I achieve them. So rainbow, positive, positive. If you do something positive, you are benefit finding. Secondly, resilient people live for today. It's, very often, especially if you are in a relationship, we all have trophies and you pack out your trophies in your cupboard and you'll polish them. So in other words, you will say, yeah, but that day you did this and this and this and that. It's okay to take out your trophies and to polish them. But at the end of the day, you must put them back. It belongs to the past. And it's also okay for your spouse or your partner or your child or whoever is with you to polish their trophies, but you polish them, you put them back. The past is the past. My husband and I have a saying. We say, today is a good day. And then whoever says today is a good day, then the other one also says today is a good day. So we have to live for today. Then thirdly, resilient people see the glass half full. So if you're automatically inclined to see the positive, it will be easier for you to bounce back, to be resilient, to bounce back. And then fourth, resilient people keep a balanced life. It's very important that in your whole lifestyle, everything, what you eat, whether you exercise, your work, your family, keep a balanced lifestyle. And then lastly, resilient people can forgive themselves. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we make mistakes. That's what we do. That's what life is about. But you forgive yourself, and then resilient people can laugh at themselves. So ladies, I'd like to say to you, these 3 strategies from Lucy is so easy. Teach your children these strategies. They are being bullied at school today, and these strategies are so easy. And if you teach them that now, they will grow up to be very strong and very resilient. I thank you.